Hey, welcome back to the channel, man. So Offset gets Quavo to get removed from the Hawks NBA game, man, because they was supposed to have the seat next to each other. And one thing about it is that when they bought the season tickets, they didn't know all this was gonna happen, and so they didn't plan on this going down. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment down below, let me know where y'all from and who you a fan of. Let's get right into it, man. So, like I said, they got the season tickets, but when the argument started, when the Migos split up and the whole Takeoff situation happened, they wasn't going to the games back then, and now they start going to the games again because it's almost playoffs. It's like the whole All-Star weekend just happened, everything like that. And now Quavo and Offset show up. They in the same line going to the elevator to the VIP. And as soon as Offset gets there, he already got his peoples with him. And so when he sits down first and he sees Quavo coming down the stairs in the escalator, that's when he tells him that he's not gonna be able to sit next to him or nothing like that. And so they basically made Quavo go all the way up to the press box booth, and that's where he stayed the whole remainder of it. So he got removed from the whole courtside game. Like he would have been right there in the game basically, but now they removed him out of there and basically kicked him out the seats, and they probably sold the seats too online or something like that to a whole nother person and try to make some bread off of it. And another thing you got to realize is that they didn't plan on none of this happening. So everything that they went in on with each other and everything like that, that they had to split, they have to share it, or somebody has to get it on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the other person gets it Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and then or Saturday, and the rest on Sunday. And they're not doing that anymore because they both got millions of dollars, so they both want to pop out to the game, they both want to have a good time, and then they boom bump into each other, and they still haven't basically figured out the whole differences between each other, and that they still family and everything like that, but at the end of the day it's like they just holding on to grudges for way 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 too long. At this point, if they see each other, they should just be able to be able to coexist, not say nothing too crazy to each other. But you seen what happened at the Grammys already, and so they not leading by good example or nothing like that. Like, can you not just watch a game and anything? And so basically, they at the Hawks game, and they both in Atlanta, so they want to feel like, oh, they could still go anywhere in Atlanta. They want to show a face around, even though the Migos aren't together, and it's like they refusing to sit next to each other is what we're hearing. And so it's like, I don't know what they did in the elevator. When they was riding the elevator, they had to have the security go in there with them because they knew that they weren't just going to let them go in there alone together, because when the elevator came down and it opened on the first floor to the floor seats, they would have been all their jackets ripped and the tie undone, everything like that, to where they looked like they got into some sort of tussle or altercation and everything. And basically, that's why they had to have the security in there with them, because they don't want nothing to go down. It's live and everything. It's on TV. It's people around. It's all the sorts of crowds that came out to the game. All of Atlanta. Atlanta's got a lot of high class, a lot of rich people and everything. So what they're making it is like they're trying to keep everything clean cut. And so they can't have Quavo and Offset just going at it right there on the front court. And that's going to distract from the game. Like Trae Young and them looking around like, oh, look, it's the Migos going at it. And, I heard that there's no more Migos. They're going to have to stop the whole thing just to let them two duke it out. And that's not what they're trying to do. And so that's why they had to make the decision. And even the NBA was like, hey, you know what? We don't want to have to get involved in none of this. They better just figure out what's going on. Somebody either sit right here or you, somebody else, you might have to go somewhere else, or we're going to go upstairs or whatever, right? Because they have access to the whole booth, because they season ticket holders and they VIP and they celebrity guests. Like sometimes they even do shows there. And so now it's like they used to be paying QC to do the show with Migos and all that all in one transaction. And now if they want to have Quavo and Offset, they have to do it all separately, and the QC's already sold. So now they got to figure out who they got to go through. Do they got to pay Cardi B? Do they got to pay Sweetie? Who's really the person that they got to go through now? And it's all complicated. It makes it to where now people are like, you know what? We just better off just going over with somebody else, something like that. And so you see how they're missing out on stuff. So they had to pop back out to the Atlanta Hawks game to basically show the organization that they could be, like you could get paid for a show to do all that. And they want to show that they still around, that they still fans. That way they can market for them and whatnot. And but what y'all gotta understand is that it made them look bad by refusing to sit next to each other, because now it's like, oh, you showing the whole entire world that y'all still can't get along and stuff. And it's like, how do you get along for 15 years and everything through so many other things? Y'all been through way harder stuff. And it's like, dang, they can't even watch a game together. Like, that's crazy. So without going at, like, they don't even have to speak really, and people have to separate it. But the issue is that the seats are right next to each other. As a matter of fact, it was supposed to be a third seat for Takeoff. And so, RIP and condolences to the family and everything like that. I know a whole lot of people are fans of Takeoff, so you know that they're going to comment down below and let me know that. And basically, them two, they the ones they hard headed. They can't just get this thing figured out. And what you gotta understand is basically when you really look at this and you peep and see what's really going on and open your eyes, look at the exact details of how this all played out. Like, to the point where it's almost like somebody has some sort of thing that's like a secret or something like that. Either it was either Quavo or they knew about something, or that they could have did something differently, and that's what it looked like. It's like, I think it's that the guilt from Quavo looking at the situation like, man, I wish I would have left earlier. Man, I wish I wouldn't have argued with that dice game. It could be a whole lot of things going in his head that he's contemplating. And so, the what ifs and all that, but he can't really focus on that. You got to move forward. And same thing with Offset. It's like, yeah, he's building up, once you cross him once, is never again, right? But then he got to understand that it's a whole lot of business that they left on the table. It's a whole lot of people that want to see them, make amends and everything. But Quavo's the one who came out and officially said that he said that the group don't exist no more. It came out of his mouth. So he's even the one, who's acting the same type of way, where it's like they don't need to be doing that. They could have like got millions and millions and more to stick together, and because people would have wanted them to go on tours to commemorate Takeoff, of course, like they would have went on a whole nother world tour anyways. And so what they did is just ruin those chances by saying that the group don't exist no more. QC sold the company because they seen what was going on with them, and they was tripping at QC. They came at QC and telling them all these issues and bringing more problems to them. And you know what it is? It's like basically they the CEOs. And so at the end of the day, they're not going to sit here and listen to these rappers and these artists who they already don't know how the things work. And it's like for them to be the CEOs, they just want to get the bread and all that. And what they don't want to deal with all the drama from the rappers, because they already know that they not thinking straight. They've been through way too many issues and problems and that stuff that they brought upon themselves because they wanted to be that way. They wanted to have that type of lifestyle. And so what it is that at the end of the day, QC was like, you know what? If we're not going to sit here and hear y'all complaining about all this stuff, you could just sell the company. We would just take our 300 M's and move along and go on to our next investment. Because at the end of the day, they the businessmen and the CEOs. They not the rappers. See, it's two things. You could either be the rapper or you could be the CEO. And so that's one thing you gotta have to decide. So everybody got a choice to make. You already made this choice and decisions. So that's what they told them to the Migos. They said, you know what, y'all the rappers. Y'all chose to be the rap. Y'all didn't want to do this business stuff. So you don't have no say in what's going on, if the group is splitting or not. If we could sell the company if we want to, and they sold that for the 300 M's and took off. And now they going and flipping that to whole nother things. And now it's like, oh, now the Migos don't have nobody backing them. And the group falls apart because at the end of the day, they chose to be the rappers and not have all their business stuff straight. They chose to argue and not choose the business over it and get along so that they could continue to do the tours and the shows and all these different things that's going to come with them being part of Migos brand, right? And so they threw that all away over greed, ego, jealousy amongst each other, over the girl, over a lot of things, and they just can't, get their differences settled, and they don't want to sit down and talk. They don't want to do no more meetings with anybody. They already burnt out QC. They were like, they done with it. They sold it. Now it's whoever else next. They already saying that they don't want to. There is no Migos, so they just showing the next owners of QC that they don't want to work with them either. And so now when you look at it, they're going to have to go do their own stuff, which they didn't have no type of experience and trying to set their own deals up and set their own things and like that. They were too busy having fun and playing around and just being rappers and whatnot. While on the other hand, they ruined the relationship with QC, Pierre, and all those guys who was really doing all the business work behind the scenes. And now they know exactly what to do to make the next person go up, and they going to get their money just like they did with the Migos. And so that's what's going on. So make sure y'all subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment down below, and I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Peace.